Rob Font, Matt Schnell, and Rob Font, I really enjoy watching him fight. Did you hear us go Boston accent a little bit at the end?
I
there?
did.
I don't know if you heard the broadcast.
I saw that. That was a great fight, man. Font's a beast.
He's a fucking animal. So the next time Rob Font fights, with Dana White's approval, of course, we're going to go Boston accent for the entire fight. Really nice to his opponent. Nice to his opponent. I don't think I'll be able to
keep a straight face if I do work with you one of these days. But yes, that would be amazing.
All right, UFC 206 also this weekend. I'm excited to fly home Saturday morning from Albany and sit down and watch UFC 206. Let's start with Tim Kennedy versus Kelvin Gastellum. I was kind of surprised to see the price relatively short here. Tim Kennedy minus 160, the comeback on Kelvin Gastellum at plus 140 as KG moves up to 185. TJ, who do you like here?
You got to go with Tim Kennedy. He's proven at middleweight. He's been a factor in this division for a very long time. It's crazy to think that he doesn't own a Strikeforce championship belt or a championship belt of any kind. And, I like Tim Kennedy to get it done here over Kelvin Gastellum. It won't be easy, but I think Kennedy will just be a little bit more proven. And even at 85, I'm still worried about Kelvin's weight cut. So Tim Kennedy, even though it will go the distance, he will get it done.
Ken Flo, what do you think? Kennedy, Gastellum, who do you like?
Yeah, I got to go with Kennedy as well. Kennedy has to be smart here, though. He doesn't want to trade with Kelvin Gastelum. Gastelum is kind of a high-pressure fighter who kind of forces it to be a boxing match, and I don't think Kennedy wants any part of that. I think Kennedy can strike. I think he hits very hard, but it's just not what he does best. What he does best is taking his opponents down to the mat and getting superior position where he can get a submission, and I think that's what Kennedy is going to do. I think Kennedy wins this match.
All right, with respect to the main event between Anthony Showtime Pettis and Max Holloway, it seems like the other fight, and respect, of course, to Cerrone and Matt Brown, but the fight that everybody seemed to be talking about this past weekend in Vegas was Choi against Cub Swanson. Now, this one was a little bit tighter, at least in terms of the betting line, and some Choi money has really moved this thing. I think it opened close to a pick'em. It's now Choi minus 235 and Cub Swanson at plus 195. Kenny, we'll lead with you here. Choi obviously is all the rage. I don't think Cub Swanson has lost a step at all, so I think he's got a lot to prove in this spot as well. But I understand why the younger, seemingly fresher guy is the favorite. What do you think about this one?
Listen, I think Cub's a beast. I think he's an exciting fighter. But, I mean, I've been on the Choi train since freaking South Korea, my man.
Yeah,
I mean, this guy is a beast. He looks like he's 11 years old. It seems like he's not even winging his punches. But when he lands, people drop and they go to sleep. Choi is an animal. Talk about babyface assassin. That dude, I think, is going to find a way to find Cub's chin. And Cub needs to be very careful. If I'm Cub, I'm taking Choi down all day. So, but I do think Choi gets it done.
All right, Choi for Ken Flo. TJ, what do you think?
Yeah, it's the same pick. I wish I could go different, but it's Choi time. And Cub's tough. If we were picking a method and round, I would go a little bit later than Kenny because I think Kenny probably thinks it's going to be done earlier, but we're not doing that for this fight. So, unfortunately, Anik, no points to pick up.
You're a good man, though, for at least being honest about it. But what if I all of a sudden, as I said on the show a couple weeks, all of a sudden I go method and round to victory in December because I'm trailing? Hey, I mean, that's bullshit.
You play to win, my friend. I'm playing to win.
I ain't no rule breaker, though. All right, Donald Cowboy Cerrone minus 260, Matt Brown plus 220. This is tough for a lot of those guys on that elevation fight team. Elliot Marshall, who I broke bread with in Las Vegas, and Leister Bowling, feels like it's not easy. Leister actually texted me. He's like, I'm glad I'm not going because it's weird. These guys have obviously shared the training mats before. Donald Cerrone, man, world beater at 170 pounds. I think exceeding almost all expectations when it comes to just how much success he's had against qualified welterweights. Now a really good test for him in Matt Brown, who lost to Jake Ellenberger back in July. TJ will lead with you here. Cerrone minus 260, Matt Brown plus 220. Who's the pick?
It is Donald Cowboy Cerrone. I think this is a fun fight. I think that Cerrone is constantly, thought of as a striker, probably because he sewed that Muay Thai patch into his shorts for so many years. But this kid's one of the better submission players in mixed martial arts. I really mean that. I mean, no, he's not a Demian Maia, but you don't want to be on the floor with this dude at all. The minute that Matt Brown takes a step back after I think what will be an intriguing fight on the feet, Donald Cerrone will take over. I will say submission probably in round 2 or 3. And I'm going to call it right here. In 2017, Donald Cerrone will fight either Tyron Woodley or Demian Maia for a title.
There you go. Some extra airtime for TJ DeSantis there. All right, Ken Flo. Donald Cerrone seemingly to me would be a hard guy to fade here at welterweight. And especially if you're only as good as your last fight. It wasn't a good one for Matt Brown at UFC 201. You back in Cerrone here as well?
Well, I mean, Cerrone only has one eye heading into this fight, so
right.
I don't really know. But I am going to go with Cerrone. Of course, I'm joking. I'm going to go with Cerrone. I think that he's the cleaner striker. I think that Matt Brown's best chance is to take it to the clinch and work those knee and elbow combinations. But I think Cerrone's going to be too fast. I think he's too good on the mat as well. I wouldn't be surprised if Cerrone makes things up with his takedowns. Cerrone really has improved his wrestling a tremendous amount. And I know that Matt Brown's very tough, and I know he hits hard, but I think Cerrone has this everywhere.
All right, main event for the UFC interim featherweight title, Max Holloway minus 170. The comeback on Anthony Pettis is at plus 145. TJ DeSantis, this being a main event, we will also need a method and a round of victory. Early money seems to be coming in on Max Holloway. You can expect the big-name Showtime Pettis to draw some late money in. Where is TJ DeSantis' money this weekend?
If I were putting money on this fight, I'd wait until after weigh-ins when that money does start to come in on Pettis and put it on Max Holloway after that line gets a little bit better. I like Max Holloway here for a variety of reasons. One, I think from a statistical standpoint, that line is worth the bet. It really is. Even though it'll be minus money, it's worth the bet. I think it's a very likely situation that he walks away with this victory. Pettis is still new to this division. I'm not confident that he is as elite at 145 as he was at 155 once upon a time. And Holloway's been knocking on the door for a very long time. With that said, I think he's going to cash in on this opportunity. It'll be tough. I think it'll be a back-and-forth fight. I think Pettis will have some moments of brilliance, might even win a couple rounds, but Max Holloway gets it done. A unanimous decision will go along with an interim title to Max Holloway.
Unanimous decision. What a friggin' fight it would be if we got 25 minutes out of these two. Ken Flo, your thoughts on this interim featherweight title headliner with a round and a method of victory, please, sir.
Brada, I'm going with Max Holloway, brada. I think he's a good Hawaiian fighter, brada. Listen, I think that Holloway, the fact that it's a 5-round fight now really swings it towards Holloway's way, just because, again, having done that 145-pound weight cut and having seen Anthony Pettis not too long ago, I mean, he looked very big, man. He looked like a big dude. It seemed like it was going to be a nasty cut for him. And if it was a 3-round fight, I would say, listen, that fight could go either way. But it being 5 rounds, I think Holloway's going to take it. I think he's going to have a lot more energy. We saw Pettis gas a little bit in that fight against Oliveira. I mean, that was not easy for him. And you just don't have the same legs. You just don't have the same energy at 45 that you're going to have at 55. And again, Holloway is just a good, clean fighter. This guy just does not make any mistakes. He can fight forwards. He can fight going backwards. He has a submission game now. I think Pettis' best bet is to try to take Holloway to the mat early and try to surprise him with a submission. I do think Pettis is the better guy on the mat, but Holloway is still very capable there as well. So I think Holloway gets it done. And I wouldn't be surprised if he gets the finish as well. Let's go with I'll give a little extra. I'll put some extra respect on Holloway's name. I'm going to go with Holloway 4th round TKO.
4th round TKO for Max Blessed Holloway. I asked Sean Shelby when I saw him this weekend what he thought about Pettis fighting 5 rounds, and at least when he proposed it to Pettis, he seemed like totally unfazed by this one being 25 instead of 15, and we'll see if it even goes the distance. But both of you guys on Max Holloway this weekend, and I think a lot of the sharp money could very well be on that side. Well, speaking of which, now joining us on the show for the first time from Las Vegas, he is the vice